All right, cool. So, that night, he took the cup. He drank. Gave thanks to you. And said to his disciples, take, drink. I think it's wine. No, it's, No, it's an apple cider. It's an apple cider. But he took the cup, drank from it, gave thanks to you, and then said, take, drink, this is my body, poured out for you for something. So, we do this in remembrance of the Lord. Praise be to the Lord. All right.
Praise be.
That's right. Let us something.
Nope.
All right.
Doing this. Get your drink.
I think I'm about there. What do I need to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Well, I got a couple. Yeah. Before we get to that piece, I have to ask you an important question.
Okay.
If you had to wrestle God, what would your strategy be?
Oh my God. Oh, dude. Yeah. I think if I wrestled God, I'd come out like the Heartbreak Kid. You know, Shawn Michaels, right? Sweet chin music, that motherfucker. You know? That's what I'm saying. Like, I know that a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's not wrestling, man. It's like MMA or whatever. Like, fuck you. Yeah, I'd just kick that motherfucker across his face. Like, right away. That, why not? You know? Look. All's fair in love and war, okay? And what that means is, if some dickhead shows up at your camp in the middle of the night, starts wrestling you, I don't give a damn. You grab a fucking aluminum baseball bat, slap him across the face, like, just get it done. You know, that's just whoop his ass. There's no technique. Fuck that shit. You know, like, I'm gonna do like a grappling, a half Nelson, whatever. Fuck that shit. Kick him in the balls. My name's Secular Rarity. I'm drinking an apple cider, and we're talking about the time that Jacob wrestled God. So, a little bit of backstory. If you don't know a lot about Jacob, he was kind of a dick as a kid because, like, he screwed his brother over, Esau, with, like, inheritance or whatever. And where we pick up in the story is, like, Jacob and Esau had been doing their shit for years, and they hadn't talked to each other. And one day, Jacob's, like, walking around the desert with his goats, and he's like, man, that's a good goat. That's a pretty good goat. That's not a great goat. And some angel comes up to him and he's like, hey man, I just saw your brother and he's coming your way. And Jacob's like, oh shit. Do you think he's still like pissed at me or shit? And the angel's like, I don't know, man. But like, he's got like all these dudes with him, right? It's like 400 fucking men that Esau has. And they're like walking towards Jacob. And so Jacob gets all freaked out. And he's like, okay, look. What we need to do is I'm going to take some of my slaves. And I'm going to like give them a bunch of stuff. I'm going to give them like goats and like gifts and stuff. And I'm just going to like send them out in front of me. And so Esau will get all these gifts. And then, like, he won't be mad at me, right? And it's not a bad plan, honestly. But it is kind of weird, because basically the way that it would work out is, like, for, like, a couple of days, for a couple of days, these servants would come up to, well, they're slaves. They're not servants. They're fucking slaves. So let's not pretend. They'd like walk up to Esau out of nowhere with like all these goats and donkeys and shit. And they'd just be like, these are your brothers, but he just wants you to have them, whatever. And then finally, like, Jacob would show up. So he does that, right? And by the way, like, and this will be really important in a second. They list out how many fucking camels and donkeys and shit that, like, Jacob gives, okay? It hang on. I've got it here. It says 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 female camels with babies, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys, okay? So it goes through fucking detail to list that for some reason. And this will be important in a second, okay? So after a couple of days, Jacob sends all these slaves out, all these fucking gifts and shit. And finally, one night, just middle of the night, Jacob wakes up and he sends his wives, multiple, plural, his wives, and slaves and sons. He motherfucker wakes up in the middle of the night. It just goes around and is like, hey guys, get up, fuck, get up, leave, just get out of here, just leave the camp. And takes all their fucking shit, and they all just leave, and they all like go, forward towards meeting Jacob's brother, right? And immediately Jacob is wrestling with some stranger. Like, there is no explanation. Remember how many donkeys we talked about just 5 seconds ago? Like, it literally says, okay, here's the line. It says, after he sent them across the stream, he sent over all of his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled him until daybreak. That sounds to me like a cover for like a gay hangout. Like, these guys were fucking each other. This is one of the first queer stories ever in the Bible. Like, Jacob was definitely hanging out with some young dude in his camp, and he was just like, hey, wives, like slaves, like sons, get the fuck out of here. I just need some time to myself, right? But they wrestled until daybreak, right? And I don't know how this story gets any more interesting, right? But it does, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Jacob is winning, this random stranger, who again, I'm just pretty confident they were banging, you guys. I'm pretty confident they were having sex. But this random guy wrestling Jacob until morning grabs his dick. Now, it says in the Hebrew, it says he grabbed his thigh, okay? But there's actually a lot of scholarship to tell us that this was a euphemism. Like the inner thigh was a common Hebrew euphemism for dick, okay? So this guy losing this battle, which again, I kind of think they were fucking, but this guy reaches out, grabs Jacob's dick, and apparently that's not a problem, because Jacob Jacob just like right after that is like, hey man, I'm not going to let you go unless you give me a blessing. Like, this guy reaches out, grabs Jacob by the dick, and Jacob's just like, whoa, hang on, man. Bless me first, you know? Like,
at least buy me dinner or something.
That's right. And the guy's like, this is great. Again, remember all that context we gave for the fucking donkeys, right? So, dude grabs Jacob's dick. Jacob's like, whoa, man, give me a blessing. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, fine. Who are you, by the way? Like, what's your fucking name? And I'm not kink shaming or anything. Like, do you think, you know? Like, anonymous fucking gay sex, if that's what you're into, like, go for it. That's fine with me. I know there's a lot of different pastors and clergy members that have been, you know, enjoying that for years, and I support them. I just wish they would you know, be open about it, as opposed to getting arrested in truck stop bathrooms or stuff. But that doesn't matter. It's not here or there. I'm just saying, like, look, here's the thing. Jacob fucking this dude's like, let me go. Jacob's like, no, bless me. Guy's like, what's your fucking name? Jacob's like, my name's Jacob. And the guy's like, not anymore, bitch. Now it's Israel. Because you have wrestled with God. Okay. All right. I guess this guy is God. And Jacob's like, oh, cool, man. Who are you? And the guy's just like, nah, that doesn't really matter. Okay. Like, that's, and like, I wish I could tell you that was the end of the story, because that alone would be enough of a weird ending. It's like, hey, this guy wakes up in the middle of the night, sends his entire family away, starts wrestling with some stranger randomly. The stranger grabs his dick, and at the end of it, the guy blesses him somehow. I wish that was the end of it, but the end of this story is actually, it says, I'm not even kidding. I'm just going to read it again. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of the hip was where Jacob was touched. Like, and again, wow, that's a euphemism for dick, which I've never needed an explanation for that in my life. I've never once needed an explanation for why a group of people are not, like, actively eating the dicks of the animals that they're killing. But, hey, here we are, and I thank the Bible. Because without that, I don't know, maybe we'd all be eating more dick.